The Diamond Sutra, Section 1, The Cause of the Dharma Assembly. Thus have I heard. At one time, the Buddha was in Shravasti, residing in the Jeta Grove in Anathapindada Park, along with a great sangha of bhikshus, 1,250 in all. At mealtime, the Bhagavan put on his robe, picked up his bowl, and made his way into the great city of Shravasti to beg for food within the city walls. After he had finished begging sequentially from door to door, he returned and ate his meal. Then he put away his robe and bowl, washed his feet, arranged his seat, and sat down. Section 2. Elder Subhuti opens the question. From the midst of the great multitude, Elder Subhuti then arose from his seat, bared his right shoulder, and knelt with his right knee to the ground. With his hands joined together in respect, he addressed the Buddha, saying, "How extraordinary, Bhagavan, is the manner in which the Tathagata is skillfully mindful of the bodhisattvas and skillfully instructs and cares for the bodhisattvas. Bhagavan, when good men and good women wish to develop the mind of Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi, how should their minds dwell? How should they pacify their minds?" The Buddha replied, "Excellent, excellent, Subhuti, for it is just as you have said. The Tathagata is skillfully mindful of the bodhisattvas, and skillfully instructs and cares for the bodhisattvas. Now listen carefully, because your question will be answered. Good men and good women who wish to develop the mind of Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi should dwell thusly, and should pacify their minds thusly." Just so, Bhagavan, we are joyfully wishing to hear it. Section 3. The True Teaching of the Great Vehicle. The Buddha told Subhuti, "Bodhisattva Mahasattvas should pacify their minds thusly, quote, all different types of sentient beings, whether born from eggs, born from wombs, born from moisture, or born from transformation, having form or no form, having thought, no thought, or neither thought nor no thought, I will cause them all to become liberated and enter nirvana without remainder." Close quote. Thusly, sentient beings are liberated without measure, without number, and to no end. However, truly, no sentient beings obtain liberation. Why? Subhuti, if a bodhisattva has a notion of a self, a notion of a person, a notion of a being, or a notion of a life, he is not a bodhisattva. Section 4. The Wondrous Practice of Non-Abiding. Moreover, Subhuti, bodhisattvas should not abide in dharmas when practicing giving. This is called, quote, giving without abiding in form. This giving does not abide in sounds, sense, tastes, sensations, or dharmas. Subhuti, bodhisattvas should practice giving thusly, not abiding in characteristics. Why? If bodhisattvas do not abide in characteristics in their practice of giving, then the merits of this are inconceivable and immeasurable. Subhuti, what do you think? Is the space to the east conceivable or measurable? Certainly not, Bhagavan. Subhuti, what do you think? Is the space in the south, west, north, the four intermediary directions, or the zenith or nadir conceivable or measurable? Certainly not, Bhagavan. Subhuti, for bodhisattvas do not abide when practicing giving, the merits are also such as this, inconceivable and immeasurable. Subhuti, bodhisattvas should only dwell in what is taught thusly. Section 5. The Principle for True Perception. Subhuti, what do you think? Can the Tathagata be perceived by means of bodily marks? Certainly not, Bhagavan. The Tathagata cannot be perceived by means of the bodily marks. Why? The bodily marks that the Tathagata speaks of are not bodily marks. The Buddha told Subhuti, everything that has marks is deceptive and false. If all marks are not seen as marks, then this is perceiving the Tathagata. Section 6. The Rarity of True Belief. Subhuti addressed the Buddha, saying, Bhagavan, will there be sentient beings who are able to hear these words thusly, giving rise to true belief? The Buddha told Subhuti, do not speak that way. After the extinction of the Tathagata, in the next 500 years, there will be those who maintain the precepts and cultivate merit, who will be able to hear these words and give rise to a mind of belief. Such beings have not just planted roots with one Buddha, or with two Buddhas, or with 3 or 4 or 5 Buddhas. They have already planted good roots with measureless millions of Buddhas to be able to hear these words and give rise to even a single thought of clean, clear belief. Subhuti, the Tathagata in each case knows this, and in each case perceives this, and these sentient beings thus attain immeasurable merit. Why? This is because these beings are holding no further notions of a self, notions of a person, notions of a being, or notions of a life. They are holding no notions of the Dharma, and no notions of what is not the Dharma. If the minds of sentient beings grasp after appearances, then this is attachment to a self, a person, a being, and a life. If they grasp after notions of the Dharma, that is certainly attachment to a self, a person, a being, and a life. Why? When one grasps at what is not the Dharma, that is immediate attachment to a self, a person, a being, and a life. Therefore, you should neither grasp at the Dharma, nor should you grasp at what is not the Dharma. Regarding this principle, the Tathagata frequently says, you bhikshus should know that the Dharma I speak is like a raft. Even the Dharma should be relinquished, so how much more the non-Dharma?